Start and never stop. What if the most important promise you ever made was not to someone else, but to yourself? What if survival wasn't dramatic? What if it was simply this, pressing publish, again and again and again? Tonight's story begins in Iowa. A kid with a microphone, a love for science fiction. A life that would include radio, television, divorce, heartbreak, near death, and a second chance he never saw coming. At 62, he launched a podcast. Not because he knew it would succeed, because he knew he wasn't finished. 3 million listens later, ranked number 1 in 33 countries, heard in nearly every corner of the world. The Lost Sci-Fi Podcast isn't just a show, it's a legacy. Tonight we talk about what it takes to build something that lasts. Not hype, not hacks, not viral explosions, but non-negotiable commitment. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to quit.
This is Doyle. Welcome to Spirit Talk Show, a storytelling podcast about connection, curiosity, and the moments that shape us. I'm Doyle. Tonight's guest knows something about the long arc of life and the courage it takes to begin again. Scott Miller started at a radio station at 16. He became a television sports anchor, a morning drive host in Dallas, a news reporter, and a voice actor. At one point, he even wrestled a bear, and the bear won. But the real turning point came later. In his mid-40s, Scott suffered a heart attack and stopped breathing. Paramedics brought him back to life. Doctors gave him a 10% chance of surviving the next 2 hours. He survived. Life after that brought loss, reinvention, and moments where everything could have gone very differently. And yet something in him kept going. At 62, from a small recording booth in Costa Rica, Scott started the Lost Sci-Fi Podcast, narrating the vintage sci-fi stories that first sparked his imagination as a kid. What began as a passion project is now heard in more than 190 countries with millions of listeners around the world. But tonight's conversation isn't about podcast growth. It's about endurance. It's about creative persistence. And it's about the deep question many of us carry. What are we building that might outlive us? Scott, thank you for coming on. I was excited about this one. I was listening to your podcast. It's been around for, is it 10 years, 16 years? Your podcast?
No, just 4.
4?
Just 4.
I'm looking at the
It feels like 16 in some ways.
Well, I'm looking at the number 616 because I have something in my notes here that said you started radio at 16. And so what did the microphone mean to you back then?
You know, it's funny. This all got started, and that would be, 50 years ago for me.
Yeah.
All got started by accident. I sprained my ankle my junior year of high school at a track meet, and the very next week, the local radio station was going to do something from the stands in our small town in Iowa. Yeah. And my coach said, "Hey, Scott, why don't you go up and help him?" He asked for some help. You know what's going on. So I got started, and I'm telling you, Doyle, it was like, this is what I was meant to do. Mm-hmm. You know, being behind the microphone, just talking and sharing with people. That's what I love.
Great. Yeah. I mean, it's something happened for me by chance too. I won a script writing competition for this radio TV station that I'm in right now. And I made my movie. I was in the festival, and then I thought, I really want to do something creative, but I don't want to make like TV and film because all the makeup and going on location. I thought, I really enjoy talking into a mic. And of course, I've always wanted to do a podcast. So,
and for obvious reasons, Doyle, you didn't want to be on camera.
Obviously, for obvious reasons, I didn't want to be on camera too. Just hideous visage of that that I am. So, when did you?
I don't believe that, by the way, but go ahead.
Oh, you can't see me right now? Look at you.
I can see you. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, I know. Well, wait till you see Russ. Come over in the camera here. Yeah, really. Okay, there's Russ is here too.
Okay, now he should not be on camera.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
You've got a face.
I'm sorry.
Radio. Oh no, he has a face for radio.
Face not even a goat could love. Yeah.
He's a goat farmer. Even his goats kind of go like, ooh, whoa.
I have been told more than once. Perfect face and body for radio.
Radio. Yeah. Well, okay, sorry, we're going off the track here. So why sci-fi? Why vintage sci-fi? But by the way, I'm sure you've heard my vintage sci-fi, my special episodes on my podcast. Have you heard them?
I did not hear that. I did not hear that. I've listened to several of them, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to be here today.
Yeah.
You have such a unique podcast, and it's so awesome to be on a podcast that's well done, that's well thought out. I just give you tremendous kudos for that.
Thank you. It's really exciting. Our success has really exploded this year.
Yeah.
Our numbers are running high. I'm running at about, right now on the new host we're on is about 60,000 a month is what we're running on right now. And so it's pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
In a short period of time, I know how hard I worked to grow my podcast and how hard it's been to grow it. So I give you tremendous credit for what you've accomplished in a short period of time.
I think it's down to, I think it's kind of like dating, that when you're trying too hard, it doesn't happen. And I made it more about, I made it more about what I love to do and how I love to connect with people and how I want to read stories. So I think I kind of self-formed that way. I stopped worrying about having the most successful podcast, just did something I enjoyed, and it seems to be resonating with people. So that's fun.
Yeah.
So
that's so important.
Yeah.
To do something, because it's the only way you can do this for a long time. Because if you're not having fun, if you don't really enjoy it, you're not going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's days, I'm sure you've done it for 4 years. There's days where you think like, we shouldn't have to record today. It does get a little bit. But, I mean, overall, it's just the people I get to talk to, like yourself, and the people we spoke to just before you to tonight, and the people that I just meet, people I'd never get to experience, and it's a tremendous thing.
So you've had days where you just couldn't drag, you felt like you almost couldn't drag yourself to the studio. Mm-hmm. But once you start the interview, have you ever had one where you didn't just...
No,
once you're in it, it's fun, right?
Okay, I'll be honest. There was one where the person was very dry and very one-word answers, and I was finding it very painful because I couldn't drag anything out of him. So it can be painful. But I think every time I spoke to someone, I've thought, this is a really cool, interesting person that I got to speak to, and this is such a privilege that I have here. But sorry, I asked you a quick question and then spoke for 5 minutes. So why did you get into vintage sci-fi?
Well, great question. I was narrating audiobooks.
Yeah.
And I did that for several years. And I enjoyed doing it, Doyle, but there were two problems with it. Number one, I would do, somebody paid me, I'm doing the audiobook.
Yeah.
So not every audiobook was one that I really, really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'd really like to find... I am 66 years old, soon to be 67. So, my health is good, so far as I know, but I wanted to do something, Doyle, that I really wanted to do, because at the end of my life, and I'm certainly there, hopefully it's a long chapter, but, so at the end of my life, I want to only do the things I really want to do, okay? And so I thought back to what do I really love, and it's funny, it goes back to the original Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
And when I was 9 years old, I think, when it came out.
Get your hands off me, you dirty ape. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the previews, I begged my parents.
Yeah.
The day it came out, and we were living in Sioux City, Iowa at the time, I begged them to let me go. So I got to go see Planet of the Apes, and that is when my sci-fi adventure began. Mm-hmm. And so the reason sci-fi is it's something I truly love. In every shape, form, and fashion, I love going in the booth and telling these stories. And what I do, I just had my 500th episode. What I do is I tell vintage science fiction stories that are in the public domain. Okay, so that I have the right to record them and can release them as audiobooks for sale and all of that stuff. So that's why sci-fi. And the first story I did was called The Hanging Stranger by Philip K. Dick. And I released that in August of 2021. August 21, 2021, I remember. That's when I went, this is what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life.
Well, I'm excited to do some with you tonight. And just so for people listening, of course, Scott is talking about his sci-fi podcast, lostsci-fi.com. You can go there and see all it. By the way, your website is wonderful. Like who made your website? Like, I need to talk to him.
I did that myself from a template that I purchased that people can use for radio and podcasts and stuff. And so I bought that. It's not where I want it to be yet, but every episode goes up there. People can listen to a preview, the whole episode. Thank you for those kind words. But really, the guy that created the template is the one that deserves the credit. And I can't remember his name, but I promise you that template is available.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to copy your template. I'm struggling with my website right now, trying to get it where I want it to be. I just recently made some changes and stuff. But okay, well, great. So,
well, I appreciate what you're saying about the Planet of the Apes movie. For me, that movie was Star Wars. When I was 6.
Yeah.
And my parents told me it was the first time they'd seen me silent and unmoving for 2 hours at a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how a story can so get into you and stay with you forever.
Yeah.
It really is. And that means you're young. If Star Wars was it for you and you were 6 or 7, that means you're a young guy.
Yeah, hardly. But mine, I'm a little bit
All things
younger.
are relative.
I try to think my first movie is probably Star Wars 2, and I was about 4 when it came out. And I remember it at 4, so it obviously was very significant going to opening day. Because I have 3 older brothers, and I think they just dragged me along.
Yeah, that Victory Star Destroyer comes across the top of the
very
screen.
top. And the thing with the scrolling sideways
Oh,
stuff. Yeah, that's pretty iconic. I'm a big sci-fi fan, too, by the way. And I'm sorry that Howie's not here, because my partner, Howie, is usually here. He's not my partner. We're not. I didn't mean we're dating. I mean, the partner host is he's not here tonight, but he loves sci-fi as well. Big sci-fi fan. So do you want to do some sci-fi radio shows? See if we can do what we can see here. If I can share the screen and see if you can read it okay. Let's go down here. This is the first.
Sure.
Well, he had one he had ready.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Did you have something you wanted to read yourself, or?
I do, but I'd be happy to do the last broadcast from Orbit 9.
Okay, so
a vintage science fiction radio.
Good. Hey, read that. Read the characters.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
So who's going to be who?
Now we got to decide who's going to do each part. So you can read the characters.
Okay, Captain Harris, commanding officer. That's my deep voice. You know what's funny is normally in an audiobook I do everything.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to do everything? I'd love that. You should do it all.
I can do that. Let me make my screen bigger so I can see the script. Optional if you want to voice it. Elliot Gray is an intellect, so he'll be my regular softer voice.
Yeah.
Private Tommy Reed, young communications officer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be happy. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna teleprompt you as we go, and I'll make sure I won't move it like that when you're reading. I'll go.
Yes.
The pause
please.
between paragraphs. I'll move it. The pause between. So I'll try to do it. Having worked for TTV, I know how to scroll in a way that the presenter can continue to read smoothly. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and do the special effects for you.
Okay. He's going to do special effects sounds. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Go. You probably should read the music part too, the part that so people know what we're supposed to be hearing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dramatic 1950 sci-fi theme, swell and fade under. From beyond the rim of known space comes a story of duty, of discovery, and of a signal that should never have answered back. Tonight's presentation, the last broadcast from Orbit 9. Captain, we're holding steady in orbit. Planetary rotation synced. Atmosphere readings are, well, they're stable. Stable's good, son. Stable means we can breathe if we need to. It also means someone else might have. Doctor, you've been waiting 20 years to say that, haven't you? 22. Sir, the surface is quiet. No lights, no cities, no radio chatter. Civilizations don't always shout before they disappear. Captain, I've got something. Talk to me. It's a transmission. Faint, repeating pattern. Play it. It's been repeating every 30 seconds since we entered orbit. Language doesn't match any Earth dialect, but the cadence is structured. Meaning it's intentional. Scene 3, translation. Running it through the pattern analyzer now. If this planet once hosted intelligent life, this could be the last thing they ever said. Let's hope it's not a warning. Captain? What is it, son? It's not random. Of course it's not. It's coordinates. Coordinates to what? To us. Scene 4, realization. Explain. The signal's origin point isn't the planet. That's impossible. We're the only vessel in this sector. Sir, the transmission is coming from orbit 9. That's our designation. Oh, that's supposed to be the kid. That's our designation. That's our ship. Scene 5, investigation. Reed, stay on comms. Doctor with me? If the signal's internal, then someone aboard is playing a dangerous joke. Engineering's clear. No power anomalies? Cargo hold? Captain, look. Those are escape pods. Launched. All of them? Every single one. Scene 6, the truth. Read over intercom. Captain, the signal just changed. Put it through. This is Captain Harris of Orbit 9. If anyone receives this transmission, do not enter orbit. The anomaly is not planetary. It is temporal. Sir, that was your voice. Temporal anomaly. Time loop. Or echo.
Echo.
You're saying we've already been here? Perhaps many times. Scene 7, discovery. Captain, there's more. Go ahead. The coordinates in the signal, they're not pointing to the ship. They're pointing to a moment. What moment? 3 hours from now. Scene 8, the choice. Doctor, if the anomaly is temporal, entering orbit triggers it. We repeat the same cycle. Launch pods send warning. Fail. Then we leave. Right now. And abandon the mission? Nope, that was a different guy. Or break the loop. Captain, engineers. Engines are powering up on their own. That's impossible. No, that's inevitable. Scene 9, final broadcast. Captain, if we're going to send anything, open channel. This is Captain Harris of Orbit 9. If this message reaches any vessel approaching this sector, turn back. The anomaly is not on the planet. It is not in space. It is us. We do not know how many times we have made this orbit. We do not know how many times we have failed. But this time, we chose differently. Full reverse thrust. Scene 10, silence. Captain, we're holding steady in orbit. Planetary rotation synced. Was it a warning from the future or a trap of their own making? In the vast reaches of space, time itself may be the final frontier. Join us next week when the unknown calls again.
Again. Okay, that was fun. There's one thing as a director I want you to do, because you read every scene except scene 2. So I want to get that on tape where you read like scene 2.
Oh, sorry, I skipped that.
Yeah, so I was saying like, because you, okay, so just to.
You read
Captain,
that?
I've got something. Talk to me.
No, you read scene
What's
2.
the
I'm
translate?
just saying you just didn't say the word scene 2. The signal.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Scene 2, the signal.
Okay, great. So, what did you think about that?
I like it. I like your style, man.
Is this something you
Well, it
wrote,
is
or
fun.
is it something that aired at some point in time?
No, that's something that was created. It's not something that it's original. So, well, it's yeah. I mean, of course, I used AI to help me a little bit, but it was, you know, I like time travel. I like time anomaly stories. I've always liked that. I've always liked mixing that kind of like how to think about something in the past, but it's really in the future. How time travel muddles thinking and stuff. I think that's really cool. I mean, I don't know.
I agree, and this was good. You know, I read that cold,
Yeah.
and it was well done. Or it's funny when I find you know, I've read hundreds of different authors.
Yeah.
From this is amazing, from Voltaire, who did a science fiction story in the 1700s,
Wow, yeah.
which most people did not know. I did not know until a listener requested it. But you read from hundreds of different authors, and some authors, it just clicks. Like the first time I sit down with their script, I can do it,
Yeah.
and not have problems. And then there are some authors that it's a little more of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But this was easy to read.
That's good.
So good stuff. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad, and I loved hearing you read it with the voices. We had a narrator on our show a few months ago called Chris Turek, and that the ability to switch between your voices, and they're so distinct sounding. Like the narrator's so distinct from the captain, from Reed, and the doctor. They definitely sounded like different people, and how you can code switch like that so quickly. That's really cool. It's fun to listen to.
You know, Doyle, it has taken a long time to get here.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something, although I have always had the ability, as weird as this may sound, I've always had the ability to read something that I've never read before and make it sound like I wrote it.
Yeah.
Or I already am very familiar with the story. And I've had people say, can you teach me how to do that? And I said, no, I have no idea how I do that. It's just a gift, but it's fun. I go into the studio 7 days a week pretty much. I do take a little vacation here and there, but I love doing this. You know, part of, to me, again, Doyle, knowing that, you know, I'm at the last chapter of my life, I want to feel fulfillment.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm contributing something, and I believe that will lengthen my life. I know it will lengthen the quality of my life.
100% will. Like so many people retire and sit and watch TV and deteriorate. You got to keep your mind active, your body active. You got to do. And this is probably. And you keep talking about the end of your life. You're only 67. You probably got 23 good years left. So.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope that's the case. But still, it's the end. It's the last chapter for me.
Yeah.
You know?
But, I mean...
And I'm not... let me tell you something, Doyle. This is the one thing I really want most. I want to be 80 years old, getting in the booth every day.
That's great.
So that's 20... What? No, that's not that. 23 more years. 13. That's 13 more years from now. I want to still be getting in the booth every single day doing what I'm doing.
I jokingly tell people that I'm going... And everybody who knows me knows it's true. I'm going to be the 100-year-old walking the Great Wall of China. So that's me. So I want to be doing that. I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to. This is going to keep moving and keep doing stuff like this. You know, I'm starting this podcast. I started at 50 years old, and it's growing into something. So that's really fun. So
yeah, it's cool.
So you said you had a piece you wanted to read. Was it a play or was it a narrative that you have?
This is actually a story that I just narrated a few days ago.
Okay.
It's called Quixote and the Windmill by Poul Anderson, or Poul Anderson. And I'll set this up for you because my favorite part, this is something I just found out recently. I really like Doyle doing the two guys sitting at the bar.
Okay.
Talking. It's just, I don't know if more intimate or whatever it is, but I really like that. So this story is about a time, a utopian world where robots do all the work pretty much, okay? And there isn't much left for human beings to do. Okay. And so these two guys during the middle of the day are in this bar that's pretty much empty except for them. And so there's the setup to the story.
So it reminds me a little bit of the story of WALL-E, that the Disney show, and also it's Coyote. It's about Don Quixote and the windmills. The story. You said, is that what it's based on? You said Coyote.
We'll find out.
We will find out. Okay.
It's a reference later in the story.
Okay.
So I'll read as much as you want me to read, and you stop me whenever you want to stop me.
Well, how long is the whole story?
Oh, the whole story is probably 30 minutes or so. So I'm already in 5 or 6 or 7 minutes. So I'll just read, and you tell me when to stop.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Yes.
Two men were giving their auto dispenser a good workout. It could hardly deliver one drink before a coin was given it for another. The smaller man was drinking whiskey and soda. The larger one stuck to the most potent available ale, and both were already thoroughly soused. They sat in a corner booth from which they could look out the open door, but their attention was directed to the drinks. It was one of those curious barroom acquaintances which spring up between utterly diverse types. They would hardly remember each other the next day, but currently they were exchanging their troubles. The little dark-haired fellow, Roger Brady, finished his drink and dialed for another. "Beat ya," he said triumphantly. "Give me time," said the big redhead, Pete Borkland. "This stuff goes down slower." Brady got out a cigarette. His fingers shook as he brought it to his mouth and puffed it into lighting. "Why can't that drink come right away?" he mumbled. "I resent a 10-second delay. 10 dry eternities. I demand instantaneously mixed drinks, delivered faster than light." The glass arrived, and he raised it to his lips. "I am afraid," he said, with the careful precision of a very drunk man, "that I'm going on a weeping jag. I would much prefer a fighting jag, but unfortunately there's nobody to fight." "I'll fight you," offered Borkland, his huge fists closed. "Nah, why? Wouldn't be a fight anyway. You just mop me up, and why should we fight? We're both in the same boat." "Yeah." Borkland looked at his fists. "Not much use anyway," he said. "Somebody'd do a lot better job of killing with an auto gun than I could with these." He unclenched them slowly, as if with an effort, and took another drag at his glass. "What we want to do," said Brady, "is to fight a world. We want to blow up all Earth and scatter the pieces from here to Pluto. Only it wouldn't do any good, Pete. Some machine would come along and put it back together again." "I just want to get drunk," said Borkland. "My wife left me. Did I tell you that? My wife left me." "Yeah, you told me." Borkland shook his heavy head, puzzled. "She said I was a drunk. I went to a doctor like she said, but it didn't help none. He said, I forgot what he said, but I had to keep on drinking anyway. Wasn't anything else to do. I know. Psychiatry helps people solve problems. It's not being able to solve a problem that drives a man insane. But when the problem is inherently insoluble, then what? One can only drink and try to forget." "My wife wanted me to amount to something," said Borkland. "She wanted me to get a job. But what could I do? I tried. Honest, I tried. I tried for, well, I've been trying all my life, really. There just wasn't any work around. Not any I could do. Fortunately, the basic citizen's allowance is enough to get drunk on, said Brady. Only the drinks don't arrive fast enough. I demand an instantaneous auto dispenser. Borkland dialed for another ale. He looked at his hands in a bewildered way. I've always been strong, he said. I know I'm not bright, but I'm strong, and I'm good at working with machines and all. But nobody would hire me. He spread his thick workman's fingers. I was handy at home. We had a little place in Alaska. My dad didn't hold with too many gadgets, so I was handy around there. And he's dead now. The place is sold. What good are my hands? The worker's paradise. Brady's thin lips twisted. Since the end of the transition, Earth has been utopia. Machines do all the routine work, all of it. They produce so much that the basic necessities of life are free. The hell, they want money for everything. Not much, and you get your citizen's allowance, which is just a convenient way of making your needs free. When you want more money for the luxuries, you work as an engineer or scientist or musician or painter or tavern keeper or spaceman or anything there's a demand for. You don't work too hard. Paradise. Brady's shaking fingers spilled cigarette ash on the table. A little tube dipped down from the wall and sucked it up. I can't find work. They don't want me. Nowhere. Of course not. What earthly good is manual labor these days? Machines do it all. Oh, there are technicians, to be sure. Quite a lot of them. But they're all highly skilled men. Years of training. The man who has nothing to offer but his strength and a little rule of thumb ingenuity doesn't get work. There is no place for him. Brady took another swallow from his glass. Human genius has eliminated the need for the workman. Now it only remains to eliminate the workman himself. Borkland's fists closed again, dangerously. What do you mean? He asked harshly. What do you mean, anyway? Nothing personal, but you know it yourself. Your type no longer fits into human society. So the geneticists are gradually working it out of the race. The population is kept static, relatively small, and is slowly evolving toward a type which can adapt to the present environment. It's not your type, Pete. The big man's anger collapsed into futility. He stared emptily at his glass. What to do? He whispered. What can I do? Okay, I need to take a break. Get a little drink here.
I was going to say that I wanted to find a logical place for it to stop, and it seemed like I like the idea of stopping on a cliffhanger. So, what's a man to do?
And you did the full read on your podcast, Scott?
Yes, the whole thing just a few days ago. It's a great story. I mean, I am amazed, guys, at the brilliance that I don't want to sound too self-serving here, but the brilliance that would almost be lost if nobody was narrating these stories. You know, these stories are amazing.
Yeah.
And
when was
in
that one
some ways, I'm sorry, did you say something?
When was that one written?
1950 something or other.
Wow.
Let's see. It was published, November 1950 in Astounding Science Fiction.
Yeah.
So what are we talking, 76 years ago?
And becoming increasingly relevant.
I mean, probably today.
Every month.
Well, I think everybody knew that was going to happen at some point. We're going to have androids and robots and stuff. Like we already have robots delivering food in big cities. So we all knew it was going to happen, right? But
I don't think in 1950 everybody knew that, though.
No.
But I think it was kind of in the culture of, the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limits. There was all those shows. They were talking about that as future stories, right? Yeah. In the year 1995, when the human race goes to Mars, something like that.
Well, here's an interesting thing to me about, and one of the other reasons why I so much love doing what I'm doing. Now, when you write science fiction, you know we've been to the moon. You know we've sent things to Mars. You know all this stuff. Well, when these stories were written, it's before the space program. It's before there were any robots, So all of these stories were written based on the belief that maybe this will happen in the future.
Yeah.
But now a lot of science fiction that's written, a lot of these things have certainly happened. So it's quite fascinating the vision that so many of these authors had. It's fascinating to me.
Scott, did you ever read the Tom Swift books?
I did not. No.
It makes me think of when I watched like Star Trek Next Generation, how many things they got right and how many things they didn't get right. Like they have iPads in their hand in the 90s, and they don't call them iPads, of course, but they have iPads. And the only thing they don't seem to have got right is because they're always speaking to people on these little screens on their desk, whereas nowadays people have these huge screens projected on a wall or something. So they didn't really get that right, but probably because they couldn't reproduce a big screen in the 90s like TV show that they made.
Well, I think a lot of what science fiction has always been about is a place to sort of have these thought experiments, as well as to examine stuff that's going on in the current world in a non-contextualized, safer way. I mean, you look at you talk about Next Generation, but the original Star Trek series, there was all kinds of stuff that it was addressing in current politics, but decontextualized, so it was safe to talk about.
But they kind of embraced that with the first interracial kiss. They embraced things that kind of tested the limits for people, and I like that. I mean, even the pilot was a Russian man, right? In the time, in the 60s, during the Cold War, their pilot, Chekhov, was that his name? Yeah. Was from Russia, and I think the other pilot is he from
Sulu?
Is he from China or is he Korean?
Japanese?
Japanese.
But
that was unusual for the time.
But science fiction should make you think. I mean,
it should for sure. So
yeah.
So other than being this wonderful voice who has that really deep end to his sentences, which are pretty cool, you wrestled a bear twice.
I did.
Was it the same bear?
It's the same bear. Yes, it was the same bear.
Out,
this is really funny. You can actually look this up because I had somebody say, "You did not wrestle a bear," and I said, "I did." He was Victor the Wrestling Bear, and if you look up Victor the Wrestling Bear, you can see there's a bunch of information out there. I so wish I had video. I was working at a TV station in Peoria, Illinois. I was a sports guy back then in that portion of my life. And I did a thing called Sports Challenge. And somebody said, well, this is not a direct challenge from me, Scott, but this is a challenge. There's a Victor the Wrestling Bear coming to Galesburg, Illinois, da-da-da-da-da. So I did it. And I went. Here's the funny – well, there's several funny parts about it. But to me, this is the funniest. You go to wrestle the bear, and before you can get in the ring – and actually wrestle Victor and do it, you have to sign a hold harmless form, which basically says, if you die, sorry for you, it's your own fault.
You are getting into a cage with a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're an idiot is really what it's saying. But anyway, so I wrestled Victor. So I guess he was doing the mall circuit back at this portion. This would be the very early 80s. So Victor came back around, and these cities were both in our coverage area. He came to Bloomington Normal, and so I went back for a rematch, and I was super fired up. And so I go to do the rematch, and I'll never forget, there was a woman who the guy that was Victor's handler, would not let this woman get in the ring with Victor. And she's, oh, you're a sexist pig, and you're this, and you're that. And then finally he says, okay, lady. He said, I'm going to tell you why, but if you really want to get in the ring with Victor, go for it. He said, it's mating season.
Oh, gosh.
And she's like, okay. No, thanks. Yeah. And she walked away. And so I got in the ring with Victor. Now, for a second time. So here's the thing, guys. I actually did when I was, I don't know what age it was, but probably 5th grade, 6th grade. I used to wrestle, and it's not the kind of wrestling, that you see on television, but high school wrestling, and this was before high school. So I used to wrestle, so I knew a few things about wrestling. So I go to wrestle Victor for the second time. He gets me down, and I have this flash in my head. I know how to get out of this. Now, the first time, Victor, after he got me down, he got on top of me, and that was that, because he's like, I don't know, 600, 700, 800 pounds. He's huge.
Yeah.
So the second time, I get up on my hands and knees, and then what you do is you because Victor has you with his big paws around your waist. And so anyway, you pull one out and you twist and you roll and you get away. Well, I did. I got up. Well, within 30 seconds, I am on the mat in tremendous pain.
Oh, gosh.
And what happened was Victor got me down, and he took his right paw straight down to my chest. And you remember the film of Lee Harvey Oswald when he got shot? Mm-hmm. That look he had on his face?
Yeah.
That's the look I had on my face. And I had video of this. I was working at Channel 19 in Peoria, Illinois. At the time, we got video of it. Of course, they showed it. Seemed like 1,000 times. But I so wish I had video of that now, because it'd be great on YouTube to show people, and people would go, he really did wrestle a bear twice. So I said to Victor's handler, what's the story, man? It hurt. He cracked my ribs.
All of them.
And, well, no, just some of them, but he cracked and, so if you ever had cracked ribs, you go to the doctor, and he says, okay. And I said, well, what do we do, doc? And he says, nothing.
Yeah.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
Try not to
Don't
breathe.
Sneeze.
Don't breathe.
Don't cough. Yeah. So I said to Victor's handler, what happened? He goes, when Victor had you down? Yeah. You got up and you got away from him. Yeah. You pissed him off. Okay. All right. But that was the deal. Victor didn't like to lose. And as you might guess, Victor was undefeated.
Yeah.
Do you think he recognized you the second time?
I doubt it, but I doubt it. But if he did, he was saying to himself, "Who is this idiot doing this the second time?"
So you have this much passion for your podcast and stuff, and I want to kind of bring it back a little bit, like more serious. I believe in your mid-40s, your heart stopped, and the paramedics brought you back, and so at the time they were telling you had 10% chance of surviving 2 hours. What does that do to a man?
Well, yeah. In this case, I was out, so they didn't tell me. They told my family that there was a 10% chance I would live 2 hours. I had the heart attack at home. I stopped breathing. I was dead for several minutes. The paramedics came to the house, brought me back to life, took me to the hospital. I was in intensive care for 8 days. What I did know after 8 days, because I was, to me, unconscious, but I guess I was conscious some of the time, but no memory of that. When you wake up after 8 days and you go, what happened? I had no recollection of any of it. And then your family fills you in on, dude, you were gone. You flatlined in the hospital several times. Wow. They didn't think you were going to live. As a matter of fact, my doctor later told me, a doctor I didn't have beforehand, by the way, but the guy who became my cardiologist told me, he said, Scott, he said, there were a lot of people in this hospital in a lot better shape than you were that died. And you're still here, man. Mm. He said, there's something going on, and I'm just, it gives you a new appreciation for life. I'll never forget, I stayed in the hospital for over a month, or another 3 weeks in a regular room. So I was there over a month. And man, when I came, and they wouldn't let me walk out, which is probably a wise thing. They take you out in a wheelchair. But guys, the air felt better. The breeze hitting my face felt amazing. The trees were more beautiful than ever before. The sky was bluer. It really is all true. And then, I had 2 years later, I had bypass surgery and was not in a good way. So I have so much to be thankful for. And it's part of what leads me to I'm going to live life with all I've got. If there's something I really want to do, Doyle, I'm going to do it. And it's, for me now, at this moment, it's that podcast, and I get so much from it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's well, you know what it's like.
So if you had a bypass 2 years later, the cardiac issues didn't come out of the blue. Where you had the heart when you had the heart attack, you were already aware that there were potential issues, or
no? Ignorance is bliss. I was much heavier than I am today. I just wasn't taking care of myself, guys. I was, and I didn't even realize it at the time, but I wasn't a happy man. I thought I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was not in a good place as far as my marriage was concerned, and my wife would later leave me, and that was a horrible thing. But it turned out to be a huge blessing, and I don't mean that to sound hateful toward my ex-wife, but it turned out to be a huge blessing. And so you never know what the next chapter of your life is going to be. You never know.
And what's on the notes here is it was a pretty short marriage. It was 113 days.
You lost your wife.
Well,
that's something different. Maybe your wife.
Yeah, that's something different. My first wife left me.
Yeah.
And I reconnected with the girl I took to prom my senior year in high school on Facebook.
Okay.
Now, what she did not know, and we had not had any communication for 36 years, 1 month, and 5 days. But who's counting? And that's exact. We had not communicated since prom. So anyway, we fell madly in love. It was like we were 16-year-old kids all over again. And it was amazing. And so we got married on the island of Ambergris Key in Belize, right on the ocean. It was a fairy tale romance, a fairy tale story to reconnect after all these years. And anyway, she had a heart attack and died in my arms 113 days after we were married. So I went from being married for almost 36 years, or 32 years, whatever it was. Now I don't even remember. All those years, was married. I was working as a television news anchor and reporter in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is a place I dearly love. But I quit that job. My wife left me for another man. I reconnect with Maria. We get married, are madly in love. Life is great, awesome. And then 113 days later, she dies in my arms of a heart attack. So all of that happened in less than 2 years.
Wow.
I know. I can commiserate. I've gone through a divorce, and that day that they're gone and everything's gone and it's empty, that place is dark. Is a heavy place. Yeah.
Well, and my brain works weird sometimes, but where I immediately leapt to on that is, imagine if you connected to her 120 days, you'd done that reach out 120 days later than you did. I mean,
you wouldn't have connected with her.
That tiny little window.
Yeah.
That made the end of the end. I mean, that had the end of her life be.
They had a courting and a dating time. He didn't just know her for 113 days. But
we were together for 22 months.
Oh, okay.
But it was 113 days of marriage, right?
Marriage, yeah.
So, but again, the whole,
still,
that sort of 2 year window, if that connection had been 18 months later, I mean,
Well, we watch sci-fi, and we know it could have been a little small decision you made to drive a certain way, to go to a coffee shop, to go to this movie. It was probably a really small decision which connected you with her. That had to happen in those 22 months.
Well, and also how wonderful a final 22 months she had.
Yeah, her first husband, after 25 years of marriage, died from cancer very shortly after he told her. He had known he had it, but she didn't know, and he had hidden that from her. And so anyway, he died, and then she got remarried too soon to a bad guy that it was just horrible. So a horrible chapter in her life. So she went back-to-back horrible chapters in her life, and then it was really great for all her friends and family to say, Maria's back. The Maria I knew years ago is back, and
that's such a precious
and of course
gift.
She was gone.
It's a precious gift you gave her, but also, I don't know, I'm a silver lining kind of guy on the bright side. You gave that woman the last 22 months of her life. She was happier than she ever knew she could be, right? So they have to honor that, right?
Yeah, but Doyle, here's the thing. What she gave me was 1,000 times that. It's, she just was so full of life, which is why it was such a shock that she had a heart attack and died, ironically, at the hospital where she worked as a nurse. But what she gave me was so much, and she said to me 2 months after we got married, she said to me, if anything ever happens to me, I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
And I, kind of struck me as odd, but at the same time, I knew that her first husband, before his death, did not say anything like that to her. So I knew when she said it that she wanted me to say it back to her. I knew that, and of course I felt that way, and I did say it back to her. But then she was preparing me, amazingly enough, to live without her, without knowing she was going to die. And I say that because she told me all the things about her first husband's death.
Yeah.
And she said she had this saying, life is for the living. And so I had to adopt that philosophy after she was gone. And so it's because of her that I was able to move on. And long story short, I started to write. I wrote a book about our relationship. It's not a great book. I'm not trying to sell the book because it doesn't sell many copies like ever, but that's okay. I told the story, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
But and that was cathartic. No two ways about it. But so after my first wife left me, I wanted my kids, my adult children, to meet Maria. And so I was telling them about her and telling my daughter specifically about Maria. And I said, for some reason, guys, I said she's Mexican. Now, why I said that, I have no idea, because I never thought of her as the Mexican girl. She was always the beautiful girl to me. But for some reason, I said it that day. And my daughter says, well, duh. And I looked at her and said, well, duh. I don't know what that means. Yeah. She said, Dad, who do you think are the most beautiful women in the world? Eva Longoria, Jennifer Lopez, Eva Mendes, Sofia Vergara. Dad, you have a type.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, her mother was not that type. But anyway, so it hit me, guys, as Maria and I were driving back to San Antonio from Dallas that night. I said, oh my gosh, Maria, you are the reason I have that type.
Because she was your prom date. Yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
She was 17 years old, the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen, and she was a Latina, obviously, from Mexico. So anyway, I'm telling that story to my daughter. She says that. I'm writing the book. Maria comes to my mind, about what she said. If anything ever happens to me, I want you to be happy. So I go to the internet, guys. I swear. I go to the internet, and I look up. Now, I'm living in Dallas, Texas. Guys, it's not like there's a shortage of Latinas in Texas. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I'm going to look and see possibly about dating a woman. I don't know that this is going to work, but Anyway, so I looked up Latina dating site. I swear. And it's still there. I think. I haven't checked recently. LatinAmericanCupid.com was the number one search result. So I go there. And of course, there were women in Dallas and around Dallas and Texas. And that was my initial thought. Well, anyway, long story short, I find this woman. She finds me. We connect. She says, why don't we have a Skype date? I'd never heard of such a thing before. I'm not a big, I didn't date. Because when my first marriage ended, Maria and I got together, so there was no dating process there. So I've not done the dating thing in 36 years, 38 years. So we have a Skype date. And this woman, it was extraordinary. She's from Costa Rica. So she's in Costa Rica. I'm in Dallas. We connect on Skype. We are on for 2 hours. And I said to her, I think I'll come to Costa Rica. And I did not know, guys, that, because if I tell you something, I'm going to tell you the truth. Not all guys, especially in the dating process, I understand, are like that. So I booked the trip right there while we were on Skype. And she said to me, send me the itinerary. What I didn't know, what she was really saying is, I think you're full of crap. I don't think you really did it. Yeah. But I did. I sent it to her. I said, look, I booked it for a month from now. So if you change your mind, I can always cancel it. No big deal. A month later, I'm in Costa Rica. I get out of in San Jose. Well, it's actually in Alajuela, but it's thought of as the San Jose airport. I get out of the airport at Alajuela, and I see this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous woman, even better than the pictures, even better than the video Skype date. And guys, I'm telling you, it was like we were meant to be together. Mm-hmm. And none of that would have happened without Maria. Life is for the living.
Giving you a type, yeah.
If something ever happens to me, I want you to be happy. Mm-hmm. And so I came to Costa Rica, loved it, came back a few months later, a year later, I can't remember exactly when, went to her daughter's wedding. We then went to the beach in Costa Rica. I spent almost 2 weeks here. I go back to Dallas. I am watching videos from my time in Costa Rica. I am looking at pictures. I am dreaming about it. I am daydreaming about it. I cannot stop thinking about it. And I'm asking myself, why am I living in Dallas when I could be living in Costa Rica? Mm-hmm. I called her up on an app called WhatsApp, which is heavily used in Costa Rica. Yeah. I called her on WhatsApp, said, look, I got an idea. What would you think if we moved to Costa Rica and lived there instead of living in Dallas? She said, that'd be great. I'd love that. My family is here. So, guys, I made the decision. I already had 2 plane tickets from Southwest Airlines ready to book. I had already gone to the leasing office, said, I don't care what it costs. Just tell me what it costs. I'm going to break my lease early. Maybe. I'll get back to you. And 45 days later, I am living in Costa Rica.
That's amazing.
45 days later.
That's amazing.
Are you still there?
8 years ago now.
That's where you live now.
Oh, yeah. 8 years. 8 years, and I love it here.
And the end of the story is, I really want the ending. You're married to this beautiful woman.
Yes, we got married.
Wow.
About a year and a half later. We've been married for almost 10 years now.
Wow.
It'll be 10 years in September.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's great. You seem to have a lot of finding loves and having very passionate connection right away. And like Maria, when you got back, was it Maria?
Maria.
Yes.
Maria. You got back with Maria, but it was really seemed like a passionate whirlwind. And he obviously did that again. That's great. And
well, the interesting thing about that phrase you were saying, that life is for the living, you can actually hear that 2 different ways. It's life is for those who are still living, or life is to be lived. Depending on, it's got several layers to it that can unwrap.
Well, I hope. Yeah. Hopefully, Scott, in your stories, you tell a little bit about, you don't just read sci-fi. You tell some of these stories to your listeners, because I'm sure people would love to hear this too.
I really don't within the stories, but I do some of that when I go live and do other things outside of the podcast. It's really kind of funny that you had mentioned that, because I get every now and then, pardon me, every now and then, I don't remember the exact instant. There's only been 2 or 3 times this has happened, but something in the story, people say, oh, I heard. One of them was the ads that run in the podcast, which I don't have no control over. But a guy said that they were anti-DEI or pro-DEI, something political to him. And he's like, I hope you're not supporting that cause, because if you are, I'll never listen to your podcast. I said, I have no idea what commercials run. They actually put different commercials in different cities and different countries. So I don't have any control over that. Nothing I do is political. Nothing I do, I don't do any of that on the podcast, because I want it to be sci-fi 100%. And I will say this. I had a guy that recently, are you familiar with the whole buy me a coffee thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I do that, and I like to thank people on the podcast that bought me a coffee. A guy recently bought 5 coffees, and he said, and this just happened a few days ago, and he said, I hope you and your wife enjoy the coffees. And I said, well, my wife will enjoy the coffee. I don't even drink coffee, as a matter of fact. But coffee they make coffee in Costa Rica. It's a huge thing in Costa Rica. So I just told Doyle, I do a little bit, but it's like a rare thing. I mentioned that in Costa Rica, did you know, guys, that mothers put coffee in the baby bottles?
Well, they put tea in my, like in Ireland, I don't drink coffee either, but my mom put tea in my baby bottle. It's something that's done.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe it's done in Catholic countries. Yeah.
I never heard of that, but in Costa Rica, Florie's mom had 9 kids. She put coffee in the bottles of all 9 kids. And then, of course, Florie has 2 daughters, adults, but she put them coffee in their baby bottles. So I mentioned that very briefly in the podcast. But other than that, I am 100% sci-fi focused.
Well, very little. My mom would put very little tea, just very, very milky tea. I don't drink coffee. I drink tea, black tea. So I don't really, but that's what I drink like even today. So, hey, well, Scott, I could listen to you for hours. I could talk to you, but unfortunately, they do kick. We record in a professional studio, and they do kick us out at a certain time. But I wanted to see if we could. Do you want to do one last play here before we sign off and give our signing off comments? Do you want to read? I have something. I have something.
Oh, you got something ready to go?
Yeah, I've got something, and I love hearing you. I love hearing you. You want to do this one alone, or do you want us to participate in some way? We love
whatever you guys want. Whatever you want.
Let's see. Well, there's 4 roles in it, so why don't we do? I don't know which is the longest. You definitely should do the narrator and the captain. Let's see. Do you want to do?
Okay.
Russ, do you want to do Dr.
Captain?
Lang?
What's his name? Captain Reeves.
Captain Reeves. Okay.
And
you're
okay.
You're Victor Lang, right?
Okay.
Russ, and I'm going to be Lieutenant Tom Carver. But you need to read all the expose stuff, right?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
If that works for you, or if you'd rather do the characters and have me read the...
No, I'm good.
Okay. No, go ahead.
I'm good. From the far reaches of tomorrow, from the cold black void where no man has dared to linger, the National Broadcasting Company presents The Last Orbit, an adventure in time and space, transcribed in future tense. The year is 1997. The ship Ares Dawn, last hope of the failing Earth colonies, circles the dead planet Mars in a decaying orbit. 3 men remain on board. Fuel is gone. Oxygen dwindling. And something impossible has begun to happen on the red world below. Log entry, day 184. Captain Harlan Reeves commanding. We're locked in a spiral we can't break. Engines cold. Retro rockets spent. Dr. Lang estimates 36 hours of breathable air left, if the scrubbers hold.
That's assuming we don't choke on our own conversation first, Skipper. How's the view down there today, Doc?
The view, Tom, come look at this. The surface is is changing. Those craters we mapped last week, the ones near the Sidona, they're filling in like dusk is flowing uphill against gravity.
Victor, we've been over this. Dust storms, optical illusions from our altitude. Mars is dead. Has been for 1 billion years.
No, Harlan, not dead. Dormant. Something's waking up. I ran the spectroscope again. Trace oxygen, nitrogen, building in the atmosphere. And the temperature, it's rising 5 degrees in the last 48 hours.
5 degrees? On Mars? That's impossible.
Not impossible. Terraforming, self-triggered, something down there, some ancient mechanism is turning the planet green again, releasing volatiles, rebuilding an atmosphere.
Collision alert. Debris field approaching. Small objects. Metallic signatures.
Coming up fast. Closing velocities 20 meters per second. Brace yourselves.
Damage report.
Outer skin's breached in sections 3 and 5. I'm sealing the bulkheads. They're holding, but we've lost more pressure. Air's thinning faster now.
They weren't debris. They were probes. Tiny machines swarming up from the surface. They touched us. They scanned us, then fell away.
Scanned us? For what?
To see if we're worth saving, or if we're the infection.
The 3 men stare at the view screen. Below, the rusty deserts are darkening. Patches of green spreading like spilled ink. Channels once dry now gleam with liquid. And rising toward them, a thin silver thread. A rising tower of mist. Or something more.
Skipper, look. It's coming straight for us. Like a hand reaching up.
Not a hand. A bridge. A sky hook. Molecular assemblers. Built in real time. They're making the way up for us.
Why us? Why now?
Because we're the last. We're the last humans who remember Earth before it choked. Maybe the planet, Mars itself, has been waiting for someone to bring the memory of life back.
If we dock with that thing, if we go down, there's no coming back up. Fuel's gone. The ship's dying.
And if we stay, 30 hours, maybe less, then silence.
It's evolution, Harlan. The planet's answering to a dying race. It's offering us a new start, or a grave.
Tom, align us with that structure. Victor, send the recognition signal. Whatever it is down there, tell it we're coming home.
Home. Funny word for a world we've never walked.
Not anymore.
And so the Aries dawn descends into the arms of a world reborn. 3 men, last children of Earth, step into tomorrow. Whether as colonists or as seeds, only the red planet knows. The last orbit. Another adventure from the outer limits of imagination. Brought to you by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with tomorrow's headlines today.
That was actually really fun. Your voice is like perfection. I really want to hear you do some like 80s trailers, you know, in a world where people,
yes,
those kind of 80s trailers. Yeah, that was fun. And again, your voices are so distinct, so distinctly identifiable as different people. That was cool.
Have you done any voiceover work, Scott?
He said he did.
Oh yeah,
he did. He narrated books. Oh well, that's not
right.
Voiceover.
Yeah, but I, as a matter of fact, I still do. I still have a few clients in the United States that I do stuff for every now and then. I just did a corporate video last week. I don't do them very often, but yeah, I used to do a lot of voiceover work, and I used to play around with in a world where strangers come together. You know, I used to do that for the fun of it. I never did any movie trailers.
Yep.
I've done all kinds of voice work. It's a lot of fun.
They don't even do those trailers anymore. I used to love those trailers which told you the story of the movie. Now it feels like trailers are manipulations, right? Because they manipulate you into thinking it's something else, right? So I think that the old trailers from the 80s used to be a lot more fun and informative. So, wow, Scott, thank you so much. I could talk to you for hours, but what is your message, your sign-off message for people who are thinking about doing a podcast but don't get through the first few episodes, or how they get past the troubles of your life with your wife dying after 113 days and your heart attack and your divorce? And by the way, my wife left me for another man too, so I understand that pain. And so what's your message?
Well, really quick, when I was 16 years old, we had moved every year after year after year. My dad was always getting promotions and other jobs. So we moved all these times. And I finally decided at 16 years of age that I was going to do whatever I wanted to do, because we're going to move to another city in the next 12 months. So we're always going to move. So I developed this attitude that I was asked the most beautiful girls, because the 16-year-old boy's brain works on beautiful girls. So I would ask the most beautiful girls out for dates. And if they said no, who cared? Because we're going to move. And nobody will know at the next place that this girl or that girl said no. Mm-hmm. Little did I know that attitude, I tried to break the world record for roller skating marathon. I roller skated for 72 consecutive hours, no sleep, when I was 16 years old. I just developed this mindset, and I would break it down decades later, realize that it totally shifted my entire life. Failure doesn't follow you unless you bring it with you. We bring failure with us. We're always worried about, what are people going to say? What are people going to do? What if I fail? What if this? Who cares?
Yeah.
You've only got this one life. You only have so much time on this earth. And so I developed this attitude. And so my message would be to people, I started this podcast with the plan, Doyle, that I would start and I would never stop. If you're a podcaster and you want to succeed, you know what you need to do? Keep doing it.
Making podcasts, yeah.
You need to keep doing it. You need to love what you're doing, because podcasting is a long game. Now, you've experienced a lot of success in a shorter period of time than most. Most will ever. Most people will never see that kind of success that soon. But it took me 4 years. Now I've been number one in 34 countries in science fiction.
That's correct.
I'm the number one vintage science fiction podcast in the world.
Yeah.
But it took 4 years of consistent effort, and I'm going to do this forever. So, man, you've got to look at it this way. Do it. If you want to do. Why did I wrestle a bear? Because I wanted to.
Yeah.
I did all kinds of other things in my life because I decided I wasn't going to be intimidated or stopped.
Scott, the real question is, why did you wrestle the bear the second time?
Because
I thought, well, you know what? It's one to do it once. Let's do it twice. Now, I was smart enough. And I was smart enough not to do it a third time.
Well, the second time you really hurt you. But
we learned the lesson. Let the bear win, you know?
So thank you so much, Scott, for coming on. I know people can hear your podcast at lostsci-fi.com, right?
Well, and I do want to say,
yes.
I really appreciate the actual voice. There's so much of what's out there right now are these AI reads, and and it's like I hate,
they're painful. Whenever I hear anything AI, if I'm a reel or a video, I just flick by because I don't want the algorithm to think for a second. I want to listen to it, so I got to flick it by.
Well, and quick. Some of them are getting, fairly good, but after a couple of minutes, it's like, oh wait, you hear the different certain words that are just off, and
they say certain words
and
off.
It's like, gosh darn it, it's like I just got snookered in, So. Like
she never could image that her life could be any better. It says image instead of imagine. It says mispronounce the words But I'm so glad to hear a real voice. People who hear you, this is certainly Scott Miller, the real voice.
And the name of the podcast again is
Lost Sci-Fi.
The Lost Sci-Fi Podcast. So you can look up, if you just look up Lost Sci-Fi or the Lost Sci-Fi Podcast, man, I'm everywhere out there.
I have it there. The Lost. The reason I'm saying you're calling it the Lost Sci-Fi, but your website is lostsci-fi.com, right? Great.
Yes.
Great
yes.
website.
You can look up lostsci-fi.com or just go there or look up the Lost Sci-Fi Podcast, whatever.
Okay.
People will find it. And, you know, what's really cool is when you get emails from people all over the world that they love what you're doing. I got a 5-star review on Apple Podcast Germany in German,
wow.
which I did the translation in Google Translate. It says this is the best podcast in the world. And I'm like, how cool is that in Germany?
I've got some too from like Ireland, which is cool because I'm from Ireland, and I've seen some amazing reviews, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. I've got lots of great reviews, and it's really cool that people are enjoying. And we're not doing it, as I'm sure you're not doing it, to get the accolades. We're doing it because it's a fun, amazing thing to do, and it's fun to get some recognition, but that's not the point.
Right. And you alluded to it a couple of times, but are most of the things that you're reading, are they now being sent in to you by listeners saying, hey, I'd like to hear you do this one? Or how do you choose the material?
Great question. I get a lot of requests. I get more requests than I could ever do. But that is the number one thing that I get exposed to new authors who are really old authors based on that. But there are several places online that have public domain science fiction stories. And so but guys, I read a lot of stories. Here's the truth. I don't record everything I read, but if I read it, if I narrate it, if it's on the podcast, I love it. And I'm also looking always for different stories. Like I just did another one. This is the strangest, or one of the strangest stories I've done, called Strange Exodus by Robert Abernathy. It was like 2 or 3 days ago on the podcast. And it's just a great, weird, apocalyptic sci-fi story. I love the apocalyptic stories.
Yeah.
But so I check them all out. I read them. If I like them, I do them.
That's great. That's great. You found something you love, and keep on. It's going to keep you young. It's going to keep you happy, and you live in a beautiful place of the world. So you're living the dream. You're living the dream. That's cool. I'm happy.
Thank you
for you. But I thank you so much for coming on. I think they're getting ready to bang down the door here because we're making us stay a little late. But it's okay. It's worth it. I'd love talking to you. Definitely have to be back, and we'll do some more readings. It was really cool to hear you read. But thank you so much for giving us your time, and we loved having you on. And any signing off comment?
Doyle, thank you for this opportunity. And let me just say, I would happily come back anytime you want me. It is a privilege and an honor to be with you guys tonight, and I am so elated for your success.
Thank you.
Yeah, great meeting you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And we will talk to you soon, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending time with us. Now go make a story worth telling.